Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I just got out of the shower and I always feel like that's the place where I become the most inspired for some reason. And I just had this kind of like, I don't know if you could call it an epiphany moment or whatever, but I just thought, wow, today's the first day in months that I've actually felt like my true self in terms of that gritty confidence, knowing that I can create anything or do anything. And there's always, as an entrepreneur, there's always going to be times where you're going to doubt yourself, or you're going to hear so much feedback from people around you all the time that's just going to kind of knock you down a little bit, just hammer a little bit by bit, right? But then you'll have these days where you just kind of feel like you come out of your shell, or there's like this weird feeling of confidence that waves over you. And then you feel like, oh my gosh, this is really me. This is who I'm actually supposed to be. And all of a sudden you catch that small glimpse of who you can become and what you can accomplish. And it doesn't happen all the time. That's the hard part, is that it doesn't stay consistent all the time. It's very hard to get back into that state. And sometimes, let's be honest, we just forget. So one thing that I just came to me this morning, I was working on my computer in my office today, and I thought, you know what? I haven't looked at my dream house in a while. And so I Googled it and I pulled it up. Lucky for me, it's dropped by $1 million since last year when I looked at it last time. And there was brand new pictures on it. So with different angles and a little bit better quality and stuff like that, which is kind of a random thing. But I have this dream house on the lake in Kelowna, BC. That's right on the lake. It's a huge mansion. It's got lots of sports stuff in it. So I'm assuming some fancy hockey player owns it right now. But I just have this vision for the cocktail parties I can throw, and the fact that we could raise our family there, and like how I would feel when I wake up in the morning and look out and the master bedroom looks right out onto the lake, and how I would feel in the office, because there's an amazing office that looks right out over top of the bedroom into the lake. And there's just like all these little things in this dream house of mine that I have literally I had forgotten about. So I went in and looked at it today and I thought, man, I'm in the zone today. And today, instead of being like, oh, let's be realistic, I'm not buying a $7 million house, I was like, no. I actually found that place, that gear inside of me again today, where I'm gonna go buy that thing. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I know that I'm going to get there. And so it's interesting how I think that there are a lot of us who really do get those glimpses of what their life could be or how they could create something, but we don't have enough confidence that we can get there on a consistent basis. And so today I just thought, like, learn how to get into the zone of who you really are. And sometimes that's gonna take, it's gonna be few and far between. Maybe it's gonna take you a few months before you get back to that feeling. But I think one of the things that visualization, journaling, vision boards, all those things, they're always preaching about that kind of stuff. And it's for a reason. It's because you need to visualize yourself as that person who is there, who is that level of success, who made it, and what that feels like, what that smells like, what that tastes like, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I'm on a tangent today, obviously. So I just kind of wanted to reach out and just say, if you're like me, you know that you can make money doing a lot of different things. So I'm always going to be somebody that always thought bigger than 100 grand a year. That's just who I am. I never accepted anything less, and I never understood why so many women around me, especially, because men I think are different. They think higher. They always, anyways, I've always been the kind of person that never understood why anyone would want to go to work full time for less than 100 grand a year. That's just me being super honest about it. So I left corporate sales at 128. That was my final T4. And I just knew that I wanted to build a different life for myself. So I went into real estate investing, which I quickly learned has a huge amount of risk. Obviously you read about that, but you don't realize what risk really feels like until you're laying in bed at night with other people's money on the line as well as all of your own, and it could go sideways. So I knew that I was never going to be somebody that wanted to make less than 100 grand a year, but I've always been that kind of person who also always believed that I could make $1 million. And so one thing that I learned from a guy named Chris Sacca, I don't know when this was, probably a couple years ago. He's now on Shark's Tank or Dragon's Den, or I think Shark's Tank, sorry. But this was way before those days, and he's a venture capitalist guy who was really involved in the early days of Twitter and a whole bunch of other things that got really, really big and popular, and he went broke very early on, and he teaches about the lessons of that and stuff like that. But then he, of course, recovered and now has made some incredible amounts of money and now is an influencer in a lot of areas. So it's, you know, you find the people that you want to look up to along the way, and he was one of mine. And I have this post-it on my wall that I read occasionally because I have a million post-its on my vision board. But there was 4 lessons that he taught one time, and this is the kind of stuff that helps me get back into the zone of who I am. So I'm hoping if I read them to you, maybe you'll take something out of it too. So number 1, get involved in something where you know you can personally affect the outcome of the success, right? I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we always know that, but I think that we need to just think at a high level before we jump into something. Okay, so is there a structure in place already? Can I personally affect whether it wins or loses, right? Number 2, start with something great and make it awesome. Don't start with shitty and make it better. That's what he says. And then I always loved that one because for me, I chose network marketing as one of my main income sources. I have real estate investing, I have a coaching business, and I have network marketing, which is my main asset for the future for building my passive income. And the interesting thing about that was start with something great and make it awesome. A lot of people think that network marketing is crappy, but it's because it's been done in a crappy way by so many people. But the model of network marketing, if you find a good, reputable, classy company to represent, the business model itself is great. So you need to find something, whether it's network marketing or not, that is great and know that you can make it awesome. Because by me learning online marketing and online business and building a business in front of my network marketing business, I'm able to create an asset. And I know that I am taking a model that is already great and I am making it awesome because of what I can add to it. And everybody who is driven and who understands that it takes longer than 1 year to build a business can be successful when they look at anything and they say, okay, I need to take something great and make it awesome. Okay, so that's the second one. The third one, give yourself the chance to get rich. Leave yourself room to benefit at scale. So that's another thing that I have learned so much about real estate investing, network marketing, all these different things is if you don't ever step into a game or an arena where you actually have the chance to become rich, then you don't have the option. So most people are like, oh yeah, I got a good job. I'm making $80,000 a year. I'm making $100,000 a year. You know, and it's got benefits and it's got dental and it's got these things and it's like, that's awesome. But then they don't ever understand why they go through 40 years of working for that kind of money and never really get to where they wanted to go with their aspirations, their true deep down aspirations. And it's because you do not give yourself the ability to get rich by working for somebody else. You can use it as a starting off point. You could use it as a great training arena. I learned invaluable sales skills, people skills, all kinds of things from the jobs that I had in the past. I was an insurance broker for 10 years and I got into the commercial insurance sales part, and I learned so much about prospecting and lead generation and what it takes to make it in a man's world, to be honest with you. That's still very much an old boys industry. Working with construction guys and oil field guys all the time, that's who I represented. And so I learned incredible amounts of stuff working there. I learned also about recurring income because insurance renews each year. And so the brokerages could literally, it's an incredible business model, insurance. I just don't personally love the industry itself because of the claims and the way that kind of side of it always goes, because I give a shit too much. I really do care about people, so it's very hard for me to say, sorry, that's not covered, blah, 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 here's the fine print, right? And I know that those are the contracts and how that worked, but it still never made me feel good to disappoint people like that when they thought that they were safe. Anyways, that's a story for another day. But here's the thing that I wanted to just emphasize about that. You have to give yourself the chance to get rich and to benefit at scale, which means a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I own my own company. And it's like, okay, great. Well, what do you do? Well, I'm a plumber, or I'm an electrician, or I'm an accountant. It's like, okay, great. But you're still the only one responsible for doing the work if you're self-employed. Now, when you start to build a business underneath you, and you have employees and other people, and you're making a percentage off of the work that they're able to do on your behalf, then you're starting to benefit on a small scale. But the big scale businesses don't happen until the companies become quite large, and there's always still huge risk involved to you personally. So there's all these, you know, you have to weigh out the pros and cons of whatever it is that you're looking to get into. But I know a lot of people who are coaching online, for example, and they're like, you know, I own my own business and I have time freedom and this and that. And it's like, well, do you really? Like, are you able to benefit from leverage or from, you know, benefit at scale at all? Because you're still the only one working in your company. Therefore, if you stop working, you stop making money. And that's not what we want to do. We want to give ourselves the ability to become wealthy. And that means money, obviously. And I think we're just going to stop talking about money like it's bad, because it isn't. It buys you everything you want, and you can give it away as much as you want, and you can create opportunities, and you can do all kinds of things. Money is good. And so making a lot of money is also very good, and we should never ever be ashamed of wanting to. So, but the other thing is that wealth is not just about finances, right? It is also about being flexible with your time because you choose to, and it is also about being able to work from anywhere you are. So when I'm in the shower, if I have automation and funnels running in my business on the internet, I am leveraging the internet, and I'm able to benefit from that at scale. Hey, Amber, because literally you're able to put out, well, first of all, online, you can get passed around to absolutely anybody. If somebody likes what you said, they're probably going to tag a friend, or they're going to forward your video, or they're going to, you know, share the link on YouTube or whatever it is. So you can literally reach all over the place online, which is already leverage, but also scalability, because you can spend a small amount of money with ads and broadcast that stuff out instead of what you would normally do, which is sitting, you know, face to face. How many people could you actually see in a week? Not very many. So you need to be able to benefit at scale from what you're doing in terms of your marketing strategies. Exactly, Amber says. And then the fourth thing, okay, first thing, only get involved in deals where you know you can personally affect the outcome, whether you win or lose. Number two, start with something great and make it awesome. Don't start with shitty and try to make it better. It doesn't work. Number three, give yourself the chance to get rich. I say give yourself the chance to become wealthy, because I really believe that money, time, and location freedom are the keys to true wealth. And then number four is be proud of what you're doing. Be proud of every business that you're in. So it's really important that we choose things that we're excited to be a part of. And so that's, I mean, a lot of us are from jobs that we didn't really love, but we like the people we worked with, right? So whether that's the people that you're involved with or whether that's the actual business itself, you gotta be a part of something that you're passionate about. And I also always emphasize that you're not always gonna start off in a business with passion, but you usually can, if you're passionate about building a business and building a future and building something that's not there yet, I swear, trust me, you will find passions come out through that. A great example for me is I was in commercial insurance. I switched to real estate investing because I loved leverage and passive income so much. And then I also branched out now into network marketing because the health component, I never in a million years would have chosen network marketing based on the products. That's just my personal story. I chose it because of the business model, because I knew that I could make something with that by personally affecting the outcome. And so the interesting thing though is that I started with the interest in building an asset and building a business and scaling, and I became passionate about health and living a better life and creating what you want through that. And now I talk about it all the time. I talk about adding health, building wealth, and growing yourself. I believe those are the three keys to creating a life that you love. So it's interesting how I started out thinking, okay, this is a smart business decision. I can affect the outcome of this. I can start with something that's a great business model and make it awesome because I can personally affect who I attract into it. And then also you give yourself the chance to become very wealthy if you do that right. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what I'm building. I'm doing it a very different way. I know that Amber's on here and she just joined me and she's going to build it a different way too. And I see Janine is watching too. I don't know if you're still on, but I know that you have a vision and you are doing the exact same thing as me. I mean, obviously we do it in different ways, but you have a vision that is to do network marketing a completely different way, and you're building a business out in front of it. So I don't know, I just think it's so important to get, circling back to the original shower epiphany, I think it's really important for us to remember to get into the zone of who we truly are more often, and give ourselves the chance to actually have the life we want with the businesses we want, and to surround ourselves with the people that we really do want to spend time with and work with. because it is a choice and it is a decision. You got to want it, you got to choose to do it, and then you got to actually take action and make it happen. So that's my rant for the morning, for the afternoon, whatever it is right now. As always, reach out to me if you have any questions. And yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Cheers, guys.